Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of R19.io podcast. I am Milton, and today I have a very special guest with me, Wesley Tis, also known as the cross-site scripting hat. Wesley is a DevOps and monitoring engineer at CM. He's certified ethical hacker, have many certifications, and the founder of the cross-site scripting hat, a company that basically builds in security systems and cybersecurity labs for training. He also creates courses for our EC Council Code Hat and runs a YouTube channel with over 10,000 subscribers and has a strong background in blockchain, cloud, and API pen testing. So today we'll explore Wesley's journey in cybersecurity, his passion for education, and dive into one of the most advanced techniques used in the real world. Wesley, I really appreciate your time, and please introduce yourself to everyone.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. And I don't blame you at all, Milton. But I have more than 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. You're right about that. I have nearly 50,000 subscribers. So thank you
Oh,
very much for having me. And no problem. I put that on my LinkedIn. That's why I probably have to update my LinkedIn. We all have that problem, like we don't keep that updated. I'm a tech geek, like you say. I like just technology. It doesn't matter what it is, I want to try to understand it. I can't sit still. I have like 100 projects running at the same time. And like it's much more than what we've even been able to tell here. We'll maybe go deeper into some of them. But I have 150,000 followers on Twitter and I have
yeah,
200,000 happy Udemy students. So it's
yeah,
growing every day. It's crazy, bro. It's like holy shit, I can't imagine like so many people. I have over 1,000 videos on my channel at the moment. I love to learn. I keep learning constantly. I'm constantly doing new stuff. Like that's sort of what we have to do. I have over 19 standalone courses and two certification programs, CAPI and CNWPP. And
okay,
I'm, like you say, very passionate about education, not just learning myself, but teaching as well. I love teaching, man. It's just seeing people
yeah.
grow is fantastic. It's so great, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I really can see that this is just a part of this is just a result about your job, and let's leverage this short presentations. Let me say, and can tell you us about your journey in technology and cybersecurity started. Let me know how you started and how you started with technology, how you started with cybersecurity. This is really interesting, and usually this is my first questions for all the guests here because I really need to know how you think, how you thought in the past. You're okay. You moved to cybersecurity. You created this type of projects, and let me know about that.
That's a great question. I love it because you don't just say cybersecurity, you say technology. Like I'm I've always been the guy who is thinking a little bit different and I don't want to be like, oh, I'm that kind of guy, you know what I mean? But I
Mm-hmm.
always had a different mindset of how the world was supposed to work because when I saw a computer, the first thing I thought is, does that mean I can build anything I can imagine? And then my journey started. I go to my IT teacher in like high school and middle school, and I asked her, "Hey, can you help me? I want to learn .NET. I want to learn programming. I want to learn all of this cool stuff." And she gave me a big book, like this big for .NET. You know, all those big
Okay.
ones. Like I loved that thing. I read it 10 times over, but I didn't have a computer to try it on, dude. I was like, come on, I want to program. I know how to program. I want to do it. And
Yeah.
like I really had that itch, you know, when I did my project for my high school. I did a major in chemistry. I have a
Mm-hmm.
chemistry degree. And like I got from school, but our project was around chocolate, and I made a website. I made a complete like website around that project. That was my thing. I didn't even care about all of the science behind it. I was like, just let me make a website. That was really cool. One of the first things that I've created, and then that like flowed into cybersecurity because you get to learn what all of these things are, and it's like how does this then work? Like okay, hackers, you hear so much about hackers, but what is a hacker? We're often afraid
Yeah.
of things because we don't know what it is. And like I in cybersecurity, I started with learning or wanting to learn what cross-site scripting is about, well, I would say 15, 16 years ago. Like
Okay.
I wanted to know. I wanted to know SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and I got into QA. Like quality assurance, and that's where I
Yeah.
got my many certificates: ISTQB, technical test analyst, and that technical test analyst really taught me a lot. So I went into like freelancing. That wasn't my own company yet back then, but I went into freelancing. I was a consultant. That's what they call it. And consultancy, that means one thing, going to different customers very often here in Belgium, because these contracts are like 1 year, 2 year, maybe 3 year. And that was my ideal position, man. That's where I wanted to be because I wanted to learn as much technology stacks as possible. And I say I think different because I absorb information differently. Just exposing myself to all of these different technology stacks, I got into the groove, and then I was like, after maybe I don't know, like after like 5 or 6 years of general IT experience, I got a diploma in networks engineering. So that's where I
Okay.
got my Cisco certificate, CCNA, all of that stuff. But the CCNA is no longer valid, of course. But
Mm-hmm.
all of that combined, I was like, okay, now I want to try OSCP. You know OSCP, right?
Yeah.
Offensive security. So basically, I am somebody. If I want something, I will get something. It doesn't matter. Like if I have to do it 10 times, 11 times, but usually, if I want something, I have to do it once, and that's enough because I have like the type of autism and ADHD where you have hyper focus, and I can really focus in on things that I want. That's why
Okay.
every difficult certificate, no matter what it was, ISTQB, CCNA, I got them immediately without hesitation. Like the first try, there was one that I had to do twice, but it was only because I had like 1% shortage. So I got to a point where I was like, now do OSCP. OSCP in my day didn't have Active Directory hacking. It was only 5 machines, and you had
Yeah.
easy, medium. You had like three mediums, one hard, one easy, or something, and then maybe I believe it was one buffer overflow.
Yeah,
So
I remember that. Let me know how many years, I don't know how many years you did your certifications or SCP certifications. How many years ago you did your OSCP certification? Because I did my OSCP certifications. I don't remember, but I think that was in 2020 three or 2022. I don't remember, but this is like you said, basically follow the same structure. You have usually one Active Directory machine, or I don't remember, but I think that was three Windows machine and two Linux machine. I don't remember now, but yeah, this is this is really, I don't know when
like
you did your certifications, if basically it's already followed the same structure.
yeah, indeed. Like the Linux versus Windows thing, I was lucky that I didn't get more Windows machines because I suck at Windows, dude. I got like my most difficult one was a Windows machine, and I got foothold on that, and I got 4 points on the others. Like I got full root on all of the others. So I
Hmm.
didn't root my hardest, and I had like 4 hours left, and I was like, screw it, dude. just screw it. I'm going to bed. I want to sleep now. I was 20 hours in, man. 24 hours of hacking. Oh
Yeah,
man.
yes. When I did the same certification, I remember that I really did 24 hours directly without stop. When I did tools app that have 48 hours, I did 40 hours directly without sleep too. 40 hours, and then really was I think that was my big challenger so far. Uh, yes, it's not talking about difficulty.
Yeah.
I'm talking about really to
Length.
stay, yeah, exactly, to stay okay, focused and try to don't sleep. um yeah, this is really interesting, and you have a lot of experience with DevOps and QA and ethical hacking. And how did this areas connect in your career? What do you think that, for example, you have experience with DevOps, QA, ethical hacking, and how did these areas connect among others?
So
I
like
how you
me,
organize this in your mind?
for me, like DevOps is the ultimate jack of all trades. I don't like per se, like the way I see my team, right? I have a
Hmm.
team of like admins of people that I really admire, and the way I see that is like a weapon. Everyone is a weapon, and everyone has their own unique attack style. I have my sniper, which is the guy
Hmm.
that can like find the cross-site scripting where there is no cross-site scripting. This guy, you give him a watch, and 2 hours later you have Kali running on it. I'm talking about you,
Hmm.
black hacks. If you're
Hmm.
like that guy, he's not like me. I'm a DevOps engineer in the sense that I know a lot of different systems. I've set up my own Jenkins system. I've set up my own Grafana. I get to play with all of these things at work. I know what they can do, Prometheus, Logstash, all of these different architectures. And you know what I do when I look at an application and I want to hack it? I profile it like I would profile a person. It's like, okay, so this application, maybe SQL here, maybe like, a reflection here. What does this parameter do? What does that parameter do? And I can have an idea if I get this back, that's GraphQL. I have an overview of everything. But if you ask me to do something where it's like really specialized, I'm not your guy. I'm your jack of all trades. You can ask me anything basic and even anything meteor. Like I like going deeper because right now I had a problem with one of my applications. I just throw Prometheus, Logstash, Grafana on there, and I can figure it out. And like I am right now in a situation where I can't say too much, so I'll just keep it general and talk about programming for now.
Hmm.
But I can I can control an army of bots in Codex, which 5 or 6 applications at the same time I'm programming in. Because in my
Okay.
head, I have an idea of how these things should work, how I can deploy them, where I can deploy them. Imagine that in different types of tools, not just
Okay.
programming. So the the like the like you can compare it to like if you are pen testing, right? You can have an
Yeah.
army of little pen testers, but they're juniors, and you have to control them, and you have to know what they're doing, and you have to know how to there's
Hmm.
like different complexities to that. If
Yeah.
you talk about pen testing in general, I have my own pen testing company. That's what the thexssrat is. And we've done
Hmm.
pen tests on major, major crypto exchanges. And
Okay.
like one thing I've learned from that is working in a team because you have to know everything about this crypto exchange. They give you a configuration of something. I am the guy who needs to know what that is. And I am the guy who needs to talk to somebody how like for example, I need my sniper right now, or I need my shotgun right now, and I
Yeah.
can really strategically place people where they have to
And
be.
do you use one specific framework to remember all the steps? You have your own framework. How do
Can I
you
can I
how
share
do
my
you?
screen?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Okay, so I don't think I can share my screen. I will send you a screenshot of it then,
Okay.
because otherwise I might have to quit the app.
I think that you probably I never in this podcast never tried to share my screen.
I would have to close and come back, so I
Yeah,
won't do it now.
but if you if it, this is really interesting because sometimes people that are listen or watching this podcast usually have the same question. What usually framework you use
Okay,
to
so
combine all those techniques and
if you don't mind, I'll be back in 2 seconds. I'll just restart and then I'll be back so I can share. Let's see, allow, so that way I can share. Do you do you see my screen right now?
yeah, you can
Okay,
see.
so I have a lot, like I say, I have a lot of projects that I am managing. And before I didn't do it like this yet. Now this is something which I'm implementing for my bug bounty hunts because we are many.
Mm-hmm.
Like our bug bounty hunts, we are many people that we have
Mm-hmm.
together. And you have different things in hacking. You have programs which you're hacking on. Programs have subdomains connected to them, domains connected to them, tasks connected to them specifically.
Mm-hmm.
They have domains here connected to them, so you can go into the domain, you can upload subdomains, you can zoom in on a subdomain, you can add tasks to here, you can add specific subdomains. Like the teams here, I can manage my teams. This is not my production environment, by the way. This is just the testing one. That's why you can see it. Here I can like create whiteboards that I can connect once again to a project where I can draw on,
Okay.
and it's like I can talk to my team, and this is my framework. This whole
Okay.
thing herein, I can also define flows of what I want people to do. So this, for
Okay.
example, where it starts with Google, then you go into your like your subdomain enumeration with AMAS, deduping. This is what I'm trying to build right now. What I used to do was Confluence. So in Atlassian, I don't know if you guys know Atlassian, but this is
Yeah,
like
yeah. Mhm.
I don't know how well. That's what I mean with I've worked at companies. I can do this
Mhm.
shit. I can do all of this, and that's something which other people maybe have trouble with. But I can imagine all of these things in my head. So let's go to the pen testing side of things here. Am I still sharing my screen?
Yeah, no, right now I no more.
Okay, I thought so. It froze. So what I have in here, I'll share again, is all types of documents, like all kinds of documents. For example, I'll show you guys a few things. This is the
Mhm.
product offerings that we have for ERP testing right now. That's not
Mhm.
too interesting. Where is it? Let me just do it like this. Here, checklists, for example. This is a way of controlling people that work for me
Okay.
and making sure that they do the things that I want them to do. I have a minimum of like this is the minimum that you need to test when I assign you something. If I
Okay.
assign you something, you have to test these types of things for each of these CWEs. Then you have single hacking points. So if you have like, for example, here, you
Okay.
can
Interesting. Interesting.
like
Yeah,
this is
you basically have uh you basically have a already have one structure so that your team follow
yeah.
one basically precompiled structure.
This is something
Yeah.
like I'll send to you, Milton. That's no problem. But this is
Mm-hmm.
something, and the audience can read it. I'll slowly scroll through it. This is my standard operating procedure for distributed pen testing. this is how I
Okay.
do distributed pen testing. And this is like the procedure which I will give to the people who will work with me. This is not a procedure which I have internally. This is just a like a doc. You can see how well I've thought about everything. I've thought about literally every single point of this, and that's my framework. So rate
Okay. Interesting.
limits, what tools to use. We're nearly there, by the way. So this right here, people need to sign that. If they want to work with me, they sign this. This is a contract for me. And then I have
Okay.
an admin
And
standard.
and basically,
Sorry.
what was the biggest challenge when you built a test framework from Strat HCM? What's the biggest challenge? Because okay, you already have this structure. You really have a beautiful structure. But what was basically the biggest challenge when you built a testing framework from scratch HCM?
Um, So at CM, this is not for CM. For CM, what I do there is I manage the infrastructure for all of these different things, like for example,
Okay.
Jenkins, Grafana. I am basically the key holder to all of our infrastructure for monitoring. And right now,
Mm-hmm.
I am very closely guarding the project for Dynatrace implementation in our systems. And you might be
Okay.
wondering why Dynatrace? Why is that super interesting for me? Because it makes a lot of money. And you know what the problem is with pen testing is finding customers on a consistent basis. Like you QA DevOps, this is they pay me every single day that I work there, and like 40 hours a week. It's like I get paid enough, believe me. Otherwise, I wouldn't do this work because it's very, very, very stressful. Like
Yeah, I know. I know.
I
Yeah.
manage everything, man. It's like release procedures, and right now I'm part of the monitoring operations center. We're kind of the guys. We have 50 projects. If there's a problem with anything, we need to look into the project infrastructure, Grafana's, like everything that they have, logs, and we need to be able to pinpoint that issue. That it seems easy, but that's definitely not easy for 50 different projects with all kinds of different technologies. It's
Yeah.
crazy, dude.
I really can imagine this. You probably have a big infrastructure, not only to monitoring, but really to manage this infrastructure. It's not a easy task.
No,
Um,
no, and
yeah,
imagine doing that twice. Imagine doing that for them and for me, because
yeah.
this is my infra. I am holding on to, like, God knows how many servers. I'm holding to Kubernetes because I just learned that Docker containers. I'm
Mm-hmm.
holding to repositories. It's trying to manage all of this. You need to have a good basis. You can't do this
Yeah,
with a basis on everything.
yeah, yeah. It's
And
interesting.
like
Yeah.
when you do this as well, just a little note. When you start doing this, your testing days are over. They're
Oh,
over because you
this
make
is
Excels. That's what you do. Excel
yeah, yeah.
sheets with endpoints, with attacks that you
Yeah,
want to do.
you basically when you just need to follow some steps, and really you basically this able to create one timeline that you need to do, and you have a really structured tasks and tasks that you need to do. This is really an interesting framework. And
I'm not
you are
structured at all, by the way. I have
yeah,
zero structure when it comes. Like, I just do what I feel like. I want to give this to your audience. Follow your intuition. Just
yeah,
follow it because
yeah,
you know
exactly.
it brings you, man.
Yes, I agree. I really agree with that. I really agree with that because uh, sometimes right now, I think that okay, right now you have many tools available, and this is good, but sometimes this is can really be a bad thing because sometimes you just basically create a confidence that this tool if this tool, for example, Burp Suite or whatever, Nucleic or another tools, if this tool done outputs you some issue, you probably, this application don't have issue. But this is really, it's a big lie, because you really can found another vulnerabilities, really making manual testing. And really, but for do that, you really needed to follow one structure framework, or you needed to follow, in this case, you have been created your own framework, of course, using another frameworks like a base, but you already created your own framework. And if you right now, if you could follow this step, okay, you can right now, it's the probability to find new vulnerabilities, it's more bigger than when you just, okay,
So,
wait for
like,
output of another
when it
frame.
comes to finding a vulnerability, right? Well, it comes to really me hacking, because I do bug bounties from time to time just for fun. You can ask my students. I usually find a bug within 1 or 2 hours that I'm hunting. I just don't really enjoy the hunt itself anymore because I know where to look. I'm a QA engineer. I know how to make test cases. So
Yeah,
if I see a parameter, testing and security testing is just a few letters apart, is what I always say. And like when you do QA engineering on technical test analyst level, you go down to the unit code level, unit test level. Basically, you know what type of unit tests are, you know what type of coverage there is, and if you know the programs that granularly, and you've worked with them, because I've been a programmer for a couple of years. I've been networks engineering, then I went into QA engineering. It's all led up to the fact that now when I look at vulnerabilities, and this is for your audience, look where other people aren't looking if you're doing bug bounties. When you see that somebody's very technical, be functional. When you see that people are looking in a web shop, go look at a business application. They're
yeah,
much more fun. When people are looking
yeah,
at star.com, don't look at star.com. How are you gonna hack Broadscope if you don't even know how to hack Nanap? Like
yeah.
you can see a bug right in front of you
Yeah,
and not
when you, yeah,
do it.
when you know about basically, okay, the main reason behind the application, it's more easy to identify issues and stuff like that. Because when you just, okay, like you said, when you just look for, okay, uh, one application, and you just try to find vulnerabilities without you really understand how this application works, it's really more hard to find,
Yeah,
to find something. And then okay, but
I will
you
give you.
this
I will
this
give you.
this okay, go there, I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
go ahead. Sorry, my apologies. I have ADHD. Sorry.
No, no, go there, yeah, go there, go
So
ahead.
I'll give you a really stupid example of read the freaking manual. I'll try not to curse too much, but like I found this bug by just reading a manual which said you cannot deactivate superadmin users. I tried. It's the easiest 125 euros I ever made in my life, man. Like just so simple stuff.
Yeah, yes, I really can agree that. And then you can imagine, okay, this is, and you probably, and probably another people tried to find the same issue, but just tried to find sometimes using automatic tools and stuff like that. And then you, when know about KA tests and stuff like that, and then and when you try to know about the reason of the application, okay, okay, it's more easy to find it, okay. Because for example, this
Mhm.
vulnerability for you was really a stupid vulnerability, but for another people that don't know how KA working, or don't know basically uh, nothing about this type of test. Usually, just wait for output like output from Nuclei or Burp Suite Professional and stuff like that, and then okay, and you are the founder of the cross-site scripting hat. The company basically focused on exotic testing, let me say, like blockchain, cloud, and API security. And I have a questions for you. What makes these areas different from traditional web application pen testing? Because I have, like I said, you have here API, you have blockchain, you have cloud, and uh, what's the difference when you look for a traditional web application penetration test? Can you?
So that's a great question. First of all, the reason why I mentioned blockchain and cloud specifically is like I learned basic web testing first because web is just communication of an application with a server, usually an API or whatever. And I learned that first. But through my QA career, I learned, first of all, mobile test automation. And then I learned iPhone hacking, and I am one of the few people that knows that here because I have the device. I have the device that I need to crack everything. I know all of these tools. And then I was like, this guy, I met this guy called John McCoy, a really awesome guy. He loves to uplift the community. He's a blockchain lover. He loves blockchain and crypto and everything related to that. So I'll focus first on crypto because there's many differences between crypto and web and blockchain. Like blockchain hacking, crypto hacking is contract hacking, basically.
Yeah,
So these like blockchains, these like Ethereum, for example. Ethereum is a coin. Everybody knows Ethereum. Anybody can build on the Ethereum blockchain. Anybody can build. You just need to know how to build contracts. You just learn a little bit of programming and that's it. So it's not really different from hacking a desktop application. You're really attacking things at its core. What is hacking at its core is understanding something and using it in ways that it is not intended to be used. So, what is blockchain hacking, crypto hacking? First of all, understanding it, really
yeah,
digging deep into how these protocols work, how the protocols work, how the RFCs, the request for comment. Dude, when you start reading RFCs, that's where the real shit happens because, like, for example, an RFC can be interpreted differently based on the browser, so Chrome and Firefox, and that gives cross-site scripting in one and not in the other. So RFCs are really like they are gold mines for us because they tell us how these things are supposed to work. So you go read the RFC, you go read the contracts that, for example, on Ethereum, sometimes you have open source project. You can go read the contracts. You can try to identify vulnerabilities in the code, but you have to, one, understand, two, identify security constraint, and three, try to break out that security constraint. So in
yeah.
essence, it's really
It's a
simple.
great insightful. It's really a great insightful because
Thank you.
yeah, because okay, if you stop to think, the most part of people that right now are moving to cybersecurity don't really have a concern to study about the basic. Okay, many
Mm.
people that right now are moving to cybersecurity don't know nothing about AFC, and
Mm-hmm.
then this is really a great insightful because uh, when you when you really go deep into how this protocol work and how this application work, you really can get more easily can get more insightful more easily, because when you just try to like I said before, I really use many times automated tools to help me for common tasks, usually in penetration testing. But it's really important that you know how this protocol is working, how this application
Yeah.
working. It's really, really important.
And
And
people like you are really lovely for people like me that go bug hunting, because you use a lot of automation, and the bugs that we hunt for, automation can't really be used for. At least me, I hunt for things where you can't use automation. I'll give you an example. You have one request and you have two object references in there, object one and object two. You use something like authorize in Burp Suite, where
mhm,
you just click, it repeats the request and it compares the responses. Well, you can't granularly test with something like authorize. You can't one by one change the identifiers. Because what if you change one, and because you change one, it's broken, and you change the other, but it doesn't even look at the other, because the first one, it breaks the request and it says no, not allowed.
mhm.
So you can't granularly test with tools like these automation tools, and that's where I come in.
Yeah, this is really interesting. And leverage this topic. What's your opinion that are the most common mistakes companies make when testing their security? Because okay, right now you know that many businesses have sometimes internal development, and usually what you think that is the common mistakes that companies make when testing their security. What you usually looking to this type of web application testings, okay, blockchain testings and stuff like that. What do you think, in your opinion, of course?
So there's a few different things here. One is going to come from the QA world, which I'm going to say, which is a fallacy in testing, which we call the
Mm-hmm.
clustering of defects. The clustering of defects basically states that if I am a developer and I make a defect, which can be a security defect, then I'm likely to make more defects. Either I have a weakness and I don't know object protection and I make very much idles in the application, or I just have a shitty day and I just commit bad code on a Friday. You know, that sometimes happens. No code review because everybody wants to go home. So that's one of the things which you often see, and that means that we as testers, if we find one thing of a particular thing, like if we find, for example, an IDOR, we must look for more IDORs on all these CRUD actions. Well, not create, but read, update, delete. And if we are like if we don't find more IDORs, we need to closely investigate that module itself, because that developer might have made more mistakes in that module. So that's one of the common mistakes that they make.
Okay.
Another is long-term logic. Companies don't have good long-term logic because you have many different teams that all want to get their thing done, and they don't integrate with each other very well, which is another point I'll touch on later.
Yes, for
But
sure.
like the people, we are not good at thinking long term. That's just like us. We are human. We are not good at thinking long term. We will never be, period, and we must accept that. But that also means that we make a lot of logic mistakes in the longer run, and those logic mistakes are never picked up by any scanners up until this point. AI is getting there, but many scanners don't know logic mistakes. Many
Okay.
scanners don't know IDORs. Many scanners don't know broken object level authorization. Many
Yeah.
scanners don't know what is a property level, things on a
Yes,
property.
I really agree with that.
And
Uh,
like I talked about integration points, that's one thing I want to mention. It's often like companies with multiple teams. One is playing with Lego and the other is playing with glue. They're just like two different things and they try to match them together. and
Yeah.
it's not always working the way that they intended on those integration points. So integration points is something we as hackers must investigate closely, I feel like. So there's a few
Yeah.
common mistakes that the companies and developers make in their thinking. Another one that is not using, so in programming, you basically have these code patterns. You have good patterns and you have bad patterns. You also have security patterns. It's the same thing. It works the
Yeah.
same way. And a lot of people don't apply those. They just program, loosely program, and don't apply these security programs like the security factory, or like there's a really good document which talks about good and bad practices from a university. I'll see if I can dig that up, but
Yeah.
it's fantastic. It's really good. It goes into all of these bad patterns.
This is really um, a reality of many businesses around the world, because sometimes you have, like you said, you have many teams inside the same businesses, that, for example, that one specific team usually work in one the part of the project, and usually use hard-coded credentials inside the code, and don't use any type of check to check this type of hard-coded credentials inside the code. And the another team, okay, already don't use, or for example use security vaults to manage their keys and stuff like that. And then you don't have these integrations between things. This is really strange, because this is the same businesses, but one okay, this is the same team, but use
Yes.
different strategies. And then this is really one big mistake that many businesses really do all the time. And okay, talking about your
Sorry, can I quickly grab into that? There's two more things that I wanted to mention.
yeah, yeah, for
You
sure,
you
go
talked
there.
you talked about pipeline credentials there. I really like that you said that because that's a big one. Or like credentials in code, hard coded. One that's really often overlooked is credentials in pipelines, in logs, in Jenkins console, in the GitLab console, and these things in logs. Of course, that's super dangerous. And another
Yeah,
one, this is for you hackers that are really smart out there. If you're looking at a repository, look at the commits and look at,
yeah,
for example, right? I'm gonna commit a password and I'm gonna be like, oh shit, I committed a password. I'm gonna like remove the password and commit. And then
yeah,
we go on, we go on, we go on. But
yeah.
that password in the commit is still there. It still exists.
Exactly, exactly. And then it is usually when you go uh, to the cybersecurity lab platform, usually you already have labs that you try to exploit JFrog, Jenkins, and stuff like that. That
Yeah.
usually you exploit this type of let's say vulnerability, because you, like you said, you already committed one password, and but you maintain this history. And then usually when hackers get this the first access, usually hackers right now know that this type of things usually happen all the time. Yeah, this is really 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 interesting.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
and don't get me wrong, these mistakes that companies make, it's hard to identify them because we are like, oh, you just look here, you just look here, you just look here. But that's why general knowledge is so important. I can't overstress this enough. If you like, the reason that I am such a fierce weapon, and I don't want to boast about myself too much, but I see myself as a pretty fierce weapon, is because you can put me anywhere and I'll understand the situation really quick. Hackers need understanding. Like,
yeah,
that's what you guys need is stop hacking immediately. For for God's sake, why do I see so many hackers that want to do bug bounties? And the first thing they do is they go broad scope, XSS, SQL injection. But they haven't even explored the application. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
and
Yeah.
I know
Usually,
I get riled
usually,
up about it.
yeah, exactly. Usually they don't try to find, for example, configuration files that you can find hide files, or you can hide.
Yeah,
Usually they can hide passwords that you can usually leverage these passwords to create unprivileged escalations and stuff like that. Usually hackers right now, just it's not all the hackers, but I think that the most part of people that are moving to cybersecurity right now just are focused on just in try to exploit one vulnerability based on one CVE and or whatever. Yeah, and usually they don't care to really to focus on, okay, to understand and to try to exploit this really application and try to go deep into there. uh,
yeah,
yeah,
and you said
this
CVE. There's nothing wrong with exploring CVEs, but make your own. There's so many open
yeah,
source programs which you can get a CVE on right now. It's like find a cross-site scripting in any open source program, report it, and you get a CVE. It's
yeah.
crazy how easy that is. And like, there's nothing wrong with diving into CVEs, but if you do, you should be writing them yourself in nucleate templates and YAML files which you upload yourself. The reason why I have such a big, broad scope thing that I just shown you is because that's why I say everybody sucks at broad scope. Everybody sucks at broad scope. Do you see what I'm doing to even manage the way that I do broad scope? It's like, and then I can understand each website and I can go deep into it because now I have my subdomains. I can do my discovery of the subdirectories and that kind of stuff. That's how I found this. Like, it was a search page, right?
Yeah,
Search.php. What are you going to search, Milton? If you see a search page, what would you search?
yeah, exactly. This is
That's not a rhetorical question. That's actually a question.
yeah,
Let's say that you find a protected login page, right? You
yeah.
have to log in, and now suddenly
you
you
try
find,
you you try in the first time. Usually when you find a one protected page, usually in PTP, usually the most part of, or okay, if you don't know
but you
nothing
like
about
let's
that,
say I
you
give you
try
that page,
one basic SQL injection and login page in the first time. And okay, you have many other options. If you, for example, find one URL when with parameters, you can try many things, since okay, one SQL injection, one cross-site scripting, you can test, okay, directory traversal, you can test, okay, parameter tampering, you can, okay, you have many type of tests. um, okay,
yeah, and like
yes,
I found just directory brute forcing or like content discovery. I found search.php. You could just find a search page and you did not have to log in for it. But what would you enter? If I say enter something here and try to find information, because just the search page, I cannot report that, right? Like maybe if it's a pen test, but in a bug bounty, nobody cares, right? Unless
yeah,
you have impact. I was thinking all day, what do I search? Username, password. I was looking all these terms, and it turns out that I just had to find like or search for name, just the query name, and then I found an Excel file with like 15,000 people's personnel information. I got that, and normally these guys don't give out bounty, but they give out 250 euros for that one. It was like,
yeah.
that's what broad scope for me is about. People don't do it correctly. Like there's so much to explore. How will you know tomorrow what domains you've tested today? Like that's, I don't know. In pen testing, you don't really get that issue, right? You have a clear scope, and that's what I like as well. A clear scope.
Yeah, yeah, but you don't, but you don't have, when you have one real scenario, when you
Mhm.
needed to find subdomains and such like that. Basically, this scenario, it's all that changed. and then you really needed to care with another things like how you need to do to remunerate these subdomains, and you needed to another things to care that before to try to exploit. Usually, okay, the first login page that you find, yeah, you have many other tasks before you try to exploit, because sometimes, okay, the first domain with the first login page, you probably don't have successful to try to exploit them, but in the same server but in different subdomain, you have another application that it's more easy to exploit that.
Yeah,
And then yes, I really agree with your thinking about that.
yeah, and even a different IP port. Like I found a web
Yeah,
server on port 80, and I found one on 71, and the one on
yeah,
71 gave me access to a server. It's
yeah.
like crazy how sometimes you just have to like think different. I sorry about that. Like I can say this now. I hacked ChatGPT. Do you know how? Super easy. You just make API key. You give it a scope, and you test a very limited scope to do one thing, and you test, and you can do other things that you're not supposed to. It's like these simple things. There's only one thing which makes that possible, but you have to test that, and you have to know what you're testing, like you say. You really have to. That's why I made these new labs. I made my new labs like they
Hmm.
are really lifelike to a real target, and I think you will agree as well if I show
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
It's
for sure.
the Redback Park. Everybody can go there, by the way. Redbackpark.thexssrat.com. I love theme parks, man. I am such a big theme park fan. I get annual subscriptions to everything. You guys can hack this thing and look at how much there is in there. There's settings, so there's user management, there's cross-site scripting in here, apparently.
Okay.
Shit. I didn't, fuck, I didn't look. Okay, so yeah, there's apparently cross-site scripting in here. Oh,
Yeah, one
geez.
started cross-site scripting.
Yeah, we did. Who did that? Who even found that login? That login was hidden for a long time. Somebody finally found it. So if you like, the funny thing is, I'll show this later, but there's ticket types in here. So like if day pass, VIP pass, there's rosters for who has to work at what hours. And then you have the like the ticket sales themselves, where if you want to buy a ticket, you can buy or sell one from the ticket sales thing. When you have to work is in here, then analytics of this thing, maintenance, so like maintenance tasks that need to be executed, reporting problems, admin problem overview. So admin has an overview of all the problems, and even role management, where you okay, somebody clearly found this.
Yeah. you
So
have
yeah,
you you have many tries here.
yeah, indeed. Like even you can make your own roles, which you see here. All of these are the rights that you could give to a role, and you can mix and match different roles together. And I can tell you from because I made this that if you mix and match certain roles together, you get an outcome which you would never get if you would just assign a normal role to somebody, like a pre-filled role. Holy shit! What the
Yeah.
hell? Leave my side alone. No, no, seriously, go hack me, please. I'm begging you to hack me. So this is like one of the ones that I made. I also made redtrack.txssrat.com, and I'm sorry that I'm touting my own horn that much,
Yes.
but for fuck's sake. So yeah, that's okay. It's okay that these certs are not. I'm experimenting with certificates and Kubernetes. Anyway, so let's make a little bit of a tenant in this one. This is made. These are all made to real bug bounty targets, guys. That's why I say they're so powerful. This is built based on what I found in real life. All the exploits you'll find in here are things I found in real life. Broken applications like this. I don't do this on accident. There's a reason behind this. You can see
Mhm.
role IDs. What does that mean? Multi-tenancy. So you can have multi-tenant IDORs in one application. It's the same for Redback Park. And now you can go to login and you have all these different things that depend on each other. So if I want to, like, I don't think I have a dashboard, but that's okay. If I want to, like, for example, here, a no machine, I have to assign that to a burrow. And some of you guys are testing like this, or like making a request and then saying, hey, but your application is giving me errors. Well, duh, dummy. You need to freaking register properly like this. People complained that my application was broken. What do you think you're gonna find in production? You need to have burrows, and this is not production, but sometimes you're going to test in non-production environments. These are often non-prod environments in bug bounties which we test in.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I have no machines, which are like, I'm not going to tout my own horn too much, but these are like big applications that are no play labs. This is no longer playtime. And I made this bounty platform where you can report bugs that are based on that, but you have to have an account on this, of course. And like, the thing is,
Hmm.
what I'm going to do, Milton, for you is I'm going to give you a code. I don't know if you can give it to your like to your audience, but there's gonna be
Hmm.
100 free seats in it, so 100 people can use it and they can register
Okay.
here for free. And then you can put a report. Oh, quick sake! There's an XSS in here.
all the time, all the time you find run cross-site scripting there.
What I was gonna show is you can, on these programs which I made, you can actually report a bug, and I made things like the report helper. So if you don't know how to write a report, we help you. Like, we help you step by step. We want to get you over there. And let's say that you're tired of doing that kind of stuff. We have quests. Look at this, guys. You can fight monsters by just answering quizzes. So, what is a pre-flight? You answer it correctly, you do damage. You answer incorrectly, the monster does damage, and you have it textiles. Like, this took me less than, like, if I combine everything, it maybe was like 14 hours of work to make this thing. It's incredibly easy and efficient these days, but this is
Yeah.
just fun. This is like this is what I like about hacking so much. It's so varied. You have business to business applications, you have broad scope. Everyone can do what they want. And you ask me, what's the difference also between cloud pen testing and normal pen testing a little bit? It's like the different types of servers. Like, I will give you a stupid example. I don't know how I got to this point, by the way. Sorry about that. But like, I was
Mhm.
doing a cloud pen test, and I know JMeter really well. I am a very good JMeter engineer, and I knew that my customer had lambdas. You know what lambdas are?
Yep.
Like, I start, like, when a lambda is starting, if you send another request, another lambda gets fired up. Normally, it doesn't happen because in a few milliseconds, lambdas get started. But I'm a JMeter engineer, so I can make 1,000 requests at the same time, basically not even a millisecond apart, and it'll start up lambdas like 1,000. You can drain people's, like, you can really drain people's budgets like that if you know that they have a lambda. You just send 100,000 requests, it spins up 100,000 lambdas, and bam, you're there.
Yeah. Yeah. This is humanly impossible to do that, and usually okay. Uh, this web server needed to identify this, but um, yeah, this is really interesting and really insightful.
I'm sorry. Go from,
How no
I'm a
no no
little
it,
bit.
no no you are fully here, you can talk, and basically here the main reason here is it's really have a free conversation between two hackers here, and leveraging all the questions, all the things that we already already talked so far. What advice will you give to beginners who want to start in penetration testing but feel overwhelmed? What's your advice you give for beginners?
Go beyond what is expected of you. If they just expect you to pen test the Grafana with their methodology, set up your own Grafana and play with it. Make your own labs, is what I'm trying to say, and hack them yourself. Make your own websites. Learn to program. Stop fucking about. Like, I'm sorry for swearing, but how do you
Yeah.
expect to learn how to hack something if you don't even know how something works? So yes, you do need to learn to program. You do need to learn how to make a database behind it. You do need to learn how to set up the network infrastructure for that whole thing and what a DMZ is and all of these things. You need to know this, but don't let it stop you from learning that and thinking about hacking while you're doing it. So think, if you're learning about a system, think about how you would hack that. And
Okay.
one thing I can always give advice there is, if somebody tells you SQL injection is this and this is how you exploit SQL injection, you should not look at how you exploit it really. You should look at how you find that. How do I find my entry point here? And yeah, for exploitation matters, but exploitation differs based upon implementation. And that's what a lot of
Okay.
beginners miss, is they learn a exploitation in one implementation. So they learn cross-site scripting in a basic PHP website, but never learn it in a Node website or something like that.
Yeah. Or hard to fix them. Sometimes just yeah. Sometimes just
I just show you. I just
yeah.
shown you like all of the exploits, the XSS. Yeah, it's hard to fix for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes they just have a concern to find a vulnerability or to try to exploit them, but they doesn't matter to really don't have a concern to how to fix this vulnerability. And today, what basically motivated you to start sharing knowledge online? Because you have more than 10,000 subscribes on YouTube, more than 20,000 followers on Max, and what motivates you to start sharing knowledge online?
That's a really good question. I love sharing knowledge. I've always done this. Before this, even, I made JMeter courses and I always wanted to teach people. Like the reason I want to is because a lot of people say teachers have a bad name. They say teachers teach because they can't do. That's what I hear often. I want to break that stigma. I really want to show that people can go beyond that, and there are some teachers who just teach because they can't do that. That's indeed true. Like, you have Java programmers in my school, which, I'm sorry, lady, but you were not a great Java programmer. With all respect, that wasn't too great what she produced. But yeah, it's like, I really want the next generation to succeed and go further to, like, how do I say this? I see society as one big pot and you can put negative energy in it. I'll be very open about this. I was a drug addict for a very long time. I was addicted to cocaine, ecstasy, basically anything I could get my hands on. I snorted up to 10,000 euros of cocaine in a month, and then I was a drain on society. I was not a good person. The years before, I was a good person. Up until then, suddenly I jumped into drug addiction, and it all started because a friend offered me a joint. Like, okay, these friends, they were smoking joints. I would have never smoked this without them, because I always thought joints are like super, like it's a gateway and stuff like that. And then I
Yeah.
saw them smoke and they were normal. And I thought, what the hell? I was always thought that drugs would make you completely go gaga and stuff like that. But like the negative energy, I really want to turn around now, because I've sucked so much life out of life itself. I want to I want to contribute positively. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I really
Okay.
do, because like I feel like that's how we can advance the next generation. And I'm getting a little bit older. I'm 34 years old now. If I
Okay.
can train 100 rats, I can attack 100 targets. And I feel like legends are born and they stand on the shoulders of giants. And legends become giants where other legends can rise upon. I hope that that's really what I want to do. I have some star students which I can pick out because I have so many students that are lining up to work with me. I have some really good students that I can pick out, and I can see them grow. This one guy, I taught him like maybe a few lessons and a few things, and suddenly he's rich and doing Web 3.0 bug bounties. And it's like seeing those kind of success stories makes me so happy, dude. The guy
Yeah,
is partying
for
his ass.
sure. I
He's
really can
drinking.
imagine. I really can imagine, and yeah, because you when you share knowledge and you share your experience like you're doing right now, you really can inspire other people. And then really, when we have the microphone, we needed to really to be careful because um, we have sometimes we don't know really the power that we have behind the scenes, and then really
Absolutely.
when you have the microphone really needs to be careful to um, with the type of message that you try to pass. And you really have really a big voice and acts. And how important is in your opinion is social media it's important for cybersecurity professionals today? How do you think that social medias like LinkedIn, X, and YouTube it's important for professional cybersecurity professional?
They all have their own different role and different application, I feel like. But anyway, any way you look at it, it's good for exposure, and that's what you want as a cybersecurity engineer, is as much exposure to these things as possible. And when it comes to LinkedIn, you'll get new contacts. Contacts are important. I can't tell you how important it is that I have 150,000 followers, because I know people. I know people that can do shit and crazy shit that I couldn't even think of. And these people help me with jobs. These people help me get there. And I've met them through X and stuff like that. And they got me this pen testing job I through somebody I got to know through social media. So growth in social media, it's incredibly important. And that's why I feel like balance is what you need in life around that. Like X is a little bit more like just get to know people behind the scenes. YouTube is learning, LinkedIn is connections, but it's all about balance around these things. You need to build connections. You need to work on learning technical skills. You need to learn, like all of the other things, it's just a part of life. And I would say around 20% of your attention should go to social media, despite of what you think, because that's like, how should I put this? When you put that much time in just growing yourself, right? You
Yeah,
learn what other people like, and
yeah,
that's what matters. And it sounds fucked up, but that's kind of what, like, if you want to grow, you learn what other people like, and there's a reason that other people like that off. So you get to grow yourself in that kind of stuff. Even me,
yeah.
like my heroes, they all come from YouTube. I love Stuck. Stuck is like such a cool guy. I love Insider PhD. I love so many different YouTube channels that I grew up with, like Life Overflow. That guy taught me so many different things, and that's just it's beautiful. It really is. In this world, we are connected. Everyone is connected, right, Milton?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I have another question. It's based on in the first time I've asked you what motivates you to share knowledge and stuff like that. And my another questions for you is what motivates you to keep building projects like in security system and labs and stuff like that, because I know right now about your passion, about your job, about your learning, about teaching stuff like that. And how motivates you, what motivates you to really keeping building projects like security systems, hack expert and labs and stuff like that?
It's a great question. I don't think other people should be like that, but I don't get my dopamine from anything else. This gives me dopamine. I've been addicted to a lot of stuff, really. And I just said that. But there's nothing like being able to create whatever you can imagine. Bro, I can't tell you how great that feels to just, if I imagine something, I can build it in less than a day. I, like I told you about that Selenium poster, like that took me maybe 30 seconds because I just had to describe what I wanted. And it's because I know these concepts. It's such an incredibly powerful feeling to even beyond when I have to work, I just work. I want to work. You can't get me off the screen, man. You can't. Like I work with my laptop. I walk everywhere, and I'm telling Codex what to do, and I'm doing different things like deploying to production, shit like that. I love to stay sharp, man. And I really dread the day that I'm gonna be old and it's gonna be more difficult to learn stuff. And oh God, dude, I don't look forward to that. But I keep my brain sharp. That's important. And I keep my body
Yeah,
sharp as well. I do weightlifting. You gotta,
yeah.
you gotta have that little extra thing. But I don't think, and this is just my personal opinion, I really
Hmm.
don't think people are made to have 8 hours of relaxation in a day. Like, why do you need 8 hours of relaxation? Like,
Yeah.
I find that crazy. Maybe some people that watch TV all day. I can't watch TV, man. I go crazy when I watch TV. Oh
Yeah.
God, no. Like I
Yeah,
can't.
usually,
Oh,
usually, I sometimes I have the same. I really can't. I really can't go to the front of TV and waste my time there. Okay, this is just my thinking too. I really share with the same thought, because I don't remember now what was the last time that that I've spent time to watching TV or watching one specific series. I really prefer to okay, let's say waste my time at the front of my computer studying or stuff like that. It's not wasting, but let me say spend my time here. And I know that
like
I really don't have more, let me say, patience to stay at the front of TV to watching, okay, another things. Sometimes I confess that I like to watching some videos on YouTube and things like that. I
yeah.
really consume a lot this type of content, but usually the traditional TV or things like that. Usually, I don't remember now what was the last time that I've been wasting my time there. Um, and my last questions for you. My last question is: what advice would you give to new hackers and security students, let's say, who dream to make some impact in the industry? Because okay, right now people are listening or watching this episode, and okay, many people right now know that Wesley really have a big experience and really in many areas. It's not only hacking, but in QA and stuff like that. And what advice would you give to new hackers or new security students that's really dream? Okay, this it's like, okay, I dream to making an impact in the industry. What advise you?
That's a great question. That's like I wouldn't have thought of that, but like really, first of all, if you really want to make an impact in the industry, you have to identify pain points. And a pain point is just a problem that a lot of people can't solve. I'll give you an example. You go and report a bug. It's valid. It's PII. So in Europe, PII, HIPAA in
Mm-hmm.
America. And you think, and I think that's a P2, P3. You know, it's HIPAA, it's PII. But
Mm-hmm.
the triager says, nope, not HIPAA. Just close. Or it's just P5 or something like that, something silly. We can't fight that. We have no way of fighting that. So why don't bug bounty platforms implement triage ratings? You know, you rate my
Yeah.
bug or triage my bug, I rate you on how good you are. Why not? Think of something like this. Why don't you make a triager database? A database of all the triagers in the world, and all the hackers can put a new triager in there. They have to put the comment of the triager in there with redacted stuff. Of course, you would review that kind of stuff. But then you see, oh, this triager made a horrible comment. He gave him 1 star, or he gave him 1 star, but the triager made a reasonable comment. I don't believe this guy who gave him 1 star. So
Mm-hmm.
that's an idea. It's a pain point. It's a problem. And now that I think about it, I'm gonna make that. I'm gonna make that today. Screw
Yeah.
you. I'm making that. No, just seriously. That's important. And then small, consistent improvements is what is important there. So if you have an idea, start with an MVP, which is your minimum viable product, and
Mm-hmm.
then build on top of that, but have a development street, a acceptance street, and a production street. What do I mean by that is you need to have a development environment which you can propagate all of your features to an acceptance environment to. On your acceptance environment, you test everything and then you push it to production. Can even be that you just run the way I do that is with my Python web apps. I say one runs on port 60, one runs on port 61. That's two different environments, and I replaced the database name. With a really quick script, I replaced the port and I replaced the database name. Or I put them in the environment variables, and then you can test whatever you want without having to disrupt your production environment. If you then make small, consistent improvements, which you have to define really well, so that would be, first of all, you define an epic. An epic is a really broad collection of features.
Yeah.
Then in that you define your stories, and your stories are your small little pieces of work which you can do in a day, maximum a day. That's what I always say. And you chop everything up. And that is what we call, you depending on how you see it, the waterfall method. The waterfall method is you have one big thing, you build, you test. What
Yeah.
we want to do is have iterations. So you're just going to define everything and then work in iterations. So group things together in features that make sense. If I've released this group, then I release a feature that makes sense to production. And
Yeah.
at that point,
This
I'm
really,
sorry, it's really a deep.
no, this is really, that's a great insight for again, bro. This is was really, really, really really interesting conversation, and
Much love.
really, yeah, thank you so much, Wesley, for joining with us today and share your
Thank you.
knowledge and experience. To everyone watching or listen, I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as did. Don't forget to follow us, subscribe to this podcast, and share this episode with your friends and community. Listen, of course, on Spotify, watch on YouTube, and yeah, Wesley, you have something to say here to close this episode.
Yeah, for sure. Like everybody here, thank you so much for watching. You can go to bountyplatform.thexssrat.com and use code Milton. I have 100 acceptance invites there.
Okay.
And you can also go to the thexssrat.com without anything in front of it. And you can use code Milton and you can find the free course which I have in mind for you guys. It's a really good course. It's normally 80 euros. It's for free now. It's really easy to find. Just question mark coupon equals Milton. thexssrat.com coupon Milton. If you do
Okay.
that, there's another free course for you there. Thank you so much for having me, Milton. Your questions were really insightful and they brought up the best in me. It was really a pleasure being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much again. And please, uh, see you in next time in the next episode of R19.0 podcast. Okay. See you again. Bye.
Bye, amazing hackers.